Hey guys, it's Ed again. Thought I would bring you guys downstairs and we'll do a little work. I ordered the parts for the Honda 150, the Baby Dream. They should be in by the end of the week. But as you guys know, behind us, still sitting here on the stand, is the XR 75 1978 project. So I thought maybe we'd work on that a little bit. I did get a couple things over here on the bench. Right there in that box is the actual this stuff ain't cheap. This is supposedly the Color-Rite Tahitian red that the Honda was made, R23. It says right on it, Tahitian red Honda. So that should be the color. I got 2 cans of it. It's 23. I think I paid 23 bucks for both cans. So you're looking at 11 bucks a piece or something. Or actually, maybe they were $23 a piece. I don't know. They were more expensive than I would normally pay. The other thing, where'd they go? Oh, I may have already showed you. I can't remember. But I also broke down and bought this. This is brand new Mayer, whatever you want to call it, plastic, because it was missing the side covers. So now we have the side covers. These do not come pre-drilled. You can see the tabs here, so they'll need to be drilled and bolted on. And so she's got new side covers. And the other thing I want to do today is we're going to do an experiment on how to get the paint off. Because if you look, I'll bring you guys over. You see, it's got yellow paint. There's the red paint. And the red paint underneath. Here it's been scrubbed off. It's peeling up here, which is good. Good sign. But this actually looks like it was painted red. Did you see that? So we'll have to get this off and see. I would think they were red all the way through and not just painted red, but who knows. We'll get those off. This one back here, same thing. Paint's peeling off. So it shouldn't be too hard. I mean, it's not adhered on there very good. So we should be able to get it off with a couple different, this is Mayer plastic too, this rear fender. So it's got aftermarket plastic anyway. So it's probably ABS plastic. And then we can work on getting the paint off all these metal parts, which that we can use a stripper on, which will be easy enough. I think we're going to try a couple different things on these fenders. I'll probably do it up in here under the seat to do a test spot, because if it does melt the plastic, you'll never ever see it. But I think we're going to try, I think I got 3 different types of stripper that we're going to use. I have that Citra strip, which is supposed to be safe on a lot of materials. It's environmental, biodegradable, all that other good stuff. And I have some actual Strip-E's, and I'm going to try some brake fluid, because they say that actually works pretty good too. So we'll just have to tape it off and make it so it's a controlled test, so we can see how this is actually going to work, if it's going to work. So anyway, yeah, actually that's the inner, that might be original. I don't know if you get that part, because that's the inner fender, and then this fender is the outer. That's Mayer, but this has a sticker on it. So yeah, I actually might try some lacquer thinner too, just rubbing it with lacquer thinner. That's what I did up here on this, right in here. I just took a rag with some lacquer thinner and rubbed on it, and it cleaned this paint, the yellow paint, off. So anyway, bring it back. Okay guys, we got them off, and I know you can't really, you probably can see a little bit, but it's in my viewfinder. It doesn't look like it's showing up that much, but this one here you could actually see the Mayer, this rear fender. It says Mayer Manufacturing. So we know that this is an aftermarket fender. This one here is the one that I just got off eBay. These aren't cheap either. These are like 60 bucks for the pair. So, but you can definitely see the color differentiation. You see how this is more orange? This is more, I think, of what the Tahitian red is supposed to look like. I have a feeling that even if I can restore these back and get that color back, even though it looks a little darker on this side, that I don't think I'll ever get to this color. So maybe, I mean, it does look darker there, but we'll have to see. I'm just concerned right now that I think it's just going to be, this is going to be more orange, the original, than this. Really, this looks like sunrise red to me. It looks like the color I painted that XL 125 tank. So anyway, that's where we're at. Okay guys, well, we're back. I've got some lacquer thinner, I've got some brake fluid, and I've got some of the citrus biodegradable, safe for indoor use, non-harsh fumes, strips multiple layers, still not supposedly good for plastic. I got a bucket here with some water in it. I got a bunch of gloves and a bunch of acid brushes here. So I also have this piece of plastic, and I've got it taped off so we can kind of see. So I guess this would be the front of the bike, this would be towards the back of the bike. We're going to start with the lacquer thinner. We'll put a little bit of that on, we'll put some brake fluid on, and then we'll put some strip E's on. So let's glove up. Safety third, right? Because the lacquer thinner, you know, that just dries your hands out. But that stuff is supposedly safe, but brake fluid isn't all that great to play in either, so, but we'll try it. We'll see. Okay, so let's grab a rag. This is a nice clean rag. You can see only the highest of quality we're going to try using on this. We're going to try to find a clean spot. That looks relatively clean. And well, yeah, if you hear there's a bolt stuck in my lacquer thinner can. I'm not sure why there is, but there is. So basically all I'm going to do is put some of that on there and sop it around on this fender, and I can start to see a little white residue. Problem with lacquer thinner is it dries fast, so, but it may soften it up. The brake fluid, I'm not sure. We'll use an acid brush, see if we can keep it on there. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Put that on there. A little thicker, at least it stays kind of in place. We'll keep the brush for that separate. Not sure it really matters, but that's what we'll do. And now, the stuff that should work, even though there's a sticker here, this is brand new, I haven't even used it. Bought it for a camper years ago, but I needed to strip some stuff on. I wonder if I should shake this up a little bit. It looks a little chunky monkey. Okay, so we'll take a little of this, goob it out here. Oh, that's nice and thick. That's just the way I like it. I'll smear that around. Now this side is the side that's on the outside. There's still, this is the inner fender, so if it eats the plastic a little bit, it doesn't really matter to me because it's basically hidden. So that's why we're testing it on this one. We'll start the watch. I got about 135. So we'll give this about 5 minutes. And we'll come back. Unless you guys want to watch for 5 minutes. Be spine-tingling video. I'm telling you, I'll have the YouTube Award of the Year. Okay, very interesting. I did shut the camera off, but down here, I don't know if you guys can see, where I left the rag and the lacquer thinner, it actually started to do something. Just where I left the rag laying on it. So plan B is to put the rag on and soak the rag. Still not sure this is going to work. But it's worth a try, right? Let that sit on there. That's actually the most effective. Now, I mean, literally, I just shut the camera off. This has been, it is, I can tell you right now, it is like 136. Okay, so that was literally on there for seconds. And the lacquer thinner started to show that it was eating it. So I'm just pushing it on, making sure it stays down there. I'm seeing nothing on the brake fluid side. Not seeing a whole heck of a lot over here on this paint stripper side either. But anyway, now I'll shut you guys off. Really, for the second time. Okay guys, it's been about 3 minutes and it's actually starting to show a little popping over here on the stripper side, which would make sense. And I noticed right after I told you guys, look at that, lacquer thinner, I think in the rag is doing even a better job. So we're going to give it 2 more minutes. We can sing a song if you'd like, but I think we'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll try scrubbing some of the stuff off. See what happens. You can sing a song. Okay guys, we're back. It's been exactly 5 minutes. As you can see, the peeler side, the stripper side, is doing its thing. And we're definitely getting some bubbly underneath the lacquer thinner. So I'm just going to rub this quick and see what happens with the rag, with the lacquer thinner. And lo and behold, it looks like it's coming up pretty good. So, of course, the little white pieces are sticking to everything, but we get a clean rag and that crap is coming off quite nicely. Notice the 2 shades of red though. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they are definitely 2 shades of red. So, I would say after 5 minutes soak with lacquer thinner, that it is doing a pretty nice job at removing the paint off this fender here. Now, this side up here is the, and actually maybe we'll just give that a quick dip to try to shut down the lacquer thinner. But we'll try wiping some of this off. As you can tell, there's a sticker here. It is Mayer plastic, so this isn't original plastic. There are 2 layers down here. You can see somebody painted it yellow, so that's a little thicker, and that looks like a little better paint. So that may require another coat or 2, but the stripper is seeming to do a decent job. And so we got a bunch of stuff here. So let's see, what do you guys think? Should we, I'm not seeing anything out of the brake fluid. Now, I'm not saying that brake fluid wasn't work. Everything I saw online said that it takes a long time for it to work. But you know, who's got time, right? And this doesn't seem to have any ill effects. I am going to give it just a shot of water to make sure that it's neutralized it. But we did get most of the white paint off either end using lacquer thinner or the actual stripper. So I think I'm going to try lacquer thinner. It didn't seem to have any effect down here. I mean, this is a little duller, but I'm not sure if that's just because it was, you know, of its location, where it's a little brighter down here. But it actually looks pretty good. So I think that's the plan. So let's take the tape off, since we have a scientific conclusion here that it's paint stripper. In this case, depending on your paint, I'm not saying that this is the holy grail of conditions, but between paint stripper and lacquer thinner, I've always been a strong fan of lacquer thinner. I think it's just like a miracle. We'll dump some on here. Hit that again. We'll let that soak in. And I mean literally, guys, I'm not going to cut away here. I'm going to leave that camera running. And I'm going to show you how fast. Now you remember, I don't know, I may have cut away a couple times, but it took about 3 to 4 minutes for the actual paint stripper, that citrusy stuff, to start bubbling the paint. And I literally laid this rag with lacquer thinner down, thinking it was, you know, not touching, but it was touching the plastic, and it started bubbling the paint. So this has been on here for, well, you watched me, what, 30 seconds maybe? And this was, now this has got oil on it too. I wiped it off, but that may slow down the procedure because there's a coat of brake fluid on it. But let's just take a look and see. Look at that, guys. That's only been on there for a few seconds. 30 seconds at the most. And it's about ready to take that right off. So, in my opinion, I don't know about that yellow paint. We don't know what that's made out of. But this cheap white paint, going to come off easy with lacquer thinner. I don't think we need to go to that extreme. I think the, and I'm not sure if this fender has as much yellow on it. And this is an inside fender, so basically this one does. You can tell there's a little yellow here, and so this one has got a coat of yellow on it. But the white for sure comes off pretty easy. So I mean, that's literally been on there maybe a minute or two, and you guys can see it's taking it right off. And if I took the rag and just give it a wipe, check that out. How much of that we got off. One thing I would like to say, guys, if you do paint your plastics, paint them the original color. I know everybody wants to customize their bikes and do whatever, but man, I tell you what, if you're into restoring bikes or any of this stuff, it's a lot easier if it's the same color. I painted the plastic on the XR75, the 74, and that's all painted and sanded down and did it that way, and they come out nice, but I don't really want to spend that much time on this bike. Even though it's a nice old bike, it's not the 74. So anyway, let's go down and see what's happening down here with this. Now this yellow is seeming to start to take to the lacquer thinner a little bit. If I get high and fall over, guys, it's just because I've been sniffing all this lacquer thinner, and it's a little pungent. But it's definitely not like the white stuff where it just peels it right off. You put a little elbow grease on this white stuff and it's gone. All the little flecks are just stick it on there because, and yeah, it's starting to peel off here. I think we need a clean rag, get all this white stuff off, all these white specks. So, yeah, works. Lacquer thinner. I'm not seeing any adverse effects to the plastic. It could be changing the color or something, but it's not feeling like it's melting it or anything. So, but as you guys can see, we come up with, I mean, it's got a lot of specks on it, but those specks may just pop right off. We'll see. With a cleaner rag, because this one is covered in white paint specks. This yellow, let's try something here. Get out of this stuff. Let's put some of the chemical stripper on this yellow and see if that'll loosen that up. This was the side I did do the yellow on, or the chemical on. So, but we're gonna really cake it on here and see if we can get that yellow to come off. Try that. Okay, we'll let that set for a few minutes. I'm going to come back with a cleaner rag and see if we can really polish that plastic up. I think I'm going to let this rag set on top of this other piece of plastic and let it, might as well use the lacquer thinner to soften that up. Okay guys, this is the next one. I've let that rag sit on there with just the lacquer thinner for, oh, I don't know, maybe 3-4 minutes. And as you can see, it got rid of the white pretty well. Can't complain about that at all. And the yellow, on the other hand, that I noticed it looks like there's a primer under it. So that's why I think it's giving us a little more issue. Looks like there was a sticker here. And that seems to be peeling off, which is okay. This is Meyer plastic too, or Mayer, or whatever however you want to pronounce it. So let's get this crap out of here, and let's put another splash right up on here on the front. And let that soak in. Let that do its thing, and that'll peel the back fender down. When we'll work on the yellow, as you can see, this one here has come out pretty well. This was the first one we started. Now I'm into this about, I got about a half hour into this whole procedure, and this inner plastic, which didn't seem to have as much yellow on it, but it does have the yellow at the end, and that is coming off. It's just requiring a little more elbow grease and work, and but I did get most of the little white specks. It's still got a decent shine to it, but it's definitely not the same color as the side covers, so that's going to look squirrely. We're going to have to figure that out. We may end up painting these plastics anyway. I mean, you can tell. I don't know if you guys can see that definitely two different colors here. A lot more orange and a lot more red. This is more of the sunrise red. This is the color I spray canned, like the tank on the XL 170 or 125, and this is more of that Tahitian, I think, color. So anyway, you guys want to look under here and see what we got? See if it loosened that up a little bit. Look at that. You guys see that? Peeling it right off. That white comes right off. Just take the rag and bloop, gone. Pretty amazing, actually. And that is just plain lacquer thinner. We'll work that over a little bit. And try to get rid of as much of the white as we can, because that comes off easy. Probably cheap dollar store paint, you know. I bought it off a young kid. I don't think he painted it necessarily, but you know, his buddies probably did or something like that. So this is the bike I gave 150 bucks for, so, or 160. I don't remember what I gave for it. Actually, he wanted 150. He actually wanted 200 for it. Said he'd take 150, and I didn't have the extra 10, so I just gave him the 10 bucks. So what's 10 bucks, right? Just parts. So let's just try it with this rag. This will take off some of the little white specks. Get it down so it's a little easier to see. So as you can tell, we're getting closer. Now we're down to the yellow. I don't know why they were bound and determined to turn this Honda into Yamaha. But I did use this on the inner fender, this stripper. This yellow paint is a lot more aggressive. So you can tell, like, even where the white kind of wants to hang on is on that yellow. And this has a primer under it. Why it doesn't have a primer everywhere, I don't know. But let's put a little more goop on here. If a little is good, a lot is better. Right? Goop that on there. And we'll try to keep it wet. So let that set. See if we can pop that yellow off. And I think it ate through my glove. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the lacquer thinner chewed through latex. Maybe it just ripped from, but there is some color there. Looks like some red on my glove. So maybe we are losing a little bit of red. We'll see. So you guys want to watch this? It's exciting. Okay guys, after, I think this will be the second application of the citrus stuff here. This is about where we've got. It is still coming off, but it's pretty slow process. The white come off like nothing, but this yellow, you can tell that there's a primer underneath it. And actually the primer is a lacquer primer, because it's coming off with the lacquer thinner easier, but you have to get under this yellow, and this yellow is a real bear to get through. So thankfully we only have to finish up this one. It's been about, now it's 2:35 now. It's been about an hour into the process. That's in between getting some rags and letting it set and stuff. But you know, like I said, this piece come out really nice. There's really, you know, again, there's still some yellow on that too. but that goes up underneath the fender, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But this is actually right on the tail of the fender, so this is going to have to come off somehow. And but I'm not seeing any deterioration in the plastic. The plastic seems to be perfectly fine. Again, this is aftermarket plastic. You can see the Mayer. It's stamped, you know, molded right into it. Mayer Manufacturing. And I'm pretty sure that this one here, this had a sticker on the front of it. It said probably Mayer too. And when I get through all the paint, I might find the stamp mark in this. So it definitely had aftermarket plastic on it. So we'll keep putzing away with it and see where we get. But it's coming, slow. Okay guys, this has been on here for about 5 minutes, and where it gets scratched, it starts to open up a little bit and soften, and then you can work on it a little bit. You can see down here, down in this area, it's starting to give a little here. So I'm thinking this might be the application, the last one to scrape it off. I'll show you. I've been using a stick actually. It's pretty high tech because I don't want to scratch it too deep, but I want to be able to remove at least the yellow is coming off. So anyway, we'll scrape on it some more. Okay guys, we are, let me see here if I get to my watch. Can't see it. We are about 7 minutes to 3, and we have finally got all the yellow paint except down inside here. You can see, but there's still a little flecks, but that's not even stuck. It wipes on. It's a static clean. But yeah, so we got the color off that one. But it's kind of funny because you can even see the difference between this one and this one. You know, this inner fender, which is a Mayer plastic. I don't know if it's older, maybe, or maybe just this one is less. But there's definitely a change there. You can see that color, right guys? Even on the inside, out of, you know, the sun, that inner fender is definitely a lot more orange, you know, than that one. So I still have a little bit on here. I'm letting that soak into that so I can get that off, even though this outer fender goes over the top, covers it completely up. You don't even see this inner fender except the inside of it. But anyway guys, I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting, and I hope that helped a little bit. I know it's still, there's no science to it. You know, lacquer thinner and the brake fluid probably does work, because I've spilled brake fluid on car paint before and it peels it off, but it takes a while. So I think if you left it in brake fluid, it would probably eventually take it off. But this was probably our best out of all of them to peel that cheap white paint off. It came off this fender perfectly, and it took the white off this good, but this took a lot more work to get that yellow that they had put on underneath that, because as you can see there's primer. So make your own decisions. I still like lacquer thinner. So thanks for watching, subscribing, and commenting, and we'll see you the next time.